What is shaken, Internet? This is Salts bringing you the How to Tank for Dummies guide. Elegon LFR. Elegon is the second boss in the second half of Mogu'Shan Vaults, which in LFR is called the Vault of Mysteries. There's several packs of trash you have to deal with before getting to Elegon. The first waves are pretty straightforward and can easily be dealt with. The big guy will petrify you, and there's nothing you can do about it unless the healer dispels. The ads on the side will continuously channel a beam between themselves and the big guy, which DPS and heals, and tanks as well, can stand in to receive healing every few seconds. Otherwise, it'll heal the big guy, so just stand in. The next set, once you get to the corridor before the room into Elegon, is slightly more interesting, but not very. The Warden mobs will do a cone attack, doing a decent amount of damage and knocking you far back. They also get a buff on themselves that deals quite a bit more damage for a few seconds after this. Normally this doesn't mean much, except for a little running, but be careful not to let this happen, as you see in the background. Dang it. Elegon is actually a big energy dragon hovering over a big pit. Once someone talks with Cho, the floor below him will turn solid. I'm going to call this the energized area. When you're inside the energized area, you get 50% more healing and 50% more damage. You'll want to stay in this area as much as possible during the fight. Elegon has 3 phases that repeat. The cycle is Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3, then Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3 again, and finally a dumbed down Phase 1. First up, let's talk about Phase 1. Elegon will stand in the middle of his platform and beat on the main tank. The main tank should face him away from the raid as he does a frontal breath attack. Eventually he will begin spawning ads, celestial protectors. The off-tank should grab these and preferably should go tank them by the edge of the energized area. Let's talk briefly about the celestial protectors. These ads do a small amount of raid damage, random raid damage, until they hit 25% health. No big deal. Then they start doing a small amount of raid-wide damage below 25% health. Still no big deal. Then, when they die, they explode with a move called Total Annihilation, doing a large amount of damage to the entire raid. What makes it worse is that it also gets that 50% damage buff when standing in the energized area, as the same as you. Therefore, the off-tank should keep him at the energized area until he gets low on health, then at 15% or so, should be dragged off of the energized area to lose the buff before they explode. To note, if they have over 25% health and aren't in the energized area, they take 90% reduced damage, so don't drag them out too early. So, for Phase 1, main tank is going to take fire to the face, and off tank is going to keep the ads at the edge of the energized area until they're low, then pop out and finish them off. For those of you wondering, it's not really necessary to drag them out of the energized area, but it does help the healers. Main tank, maybe get ready to use some cooldowns for the breath attack if you need them. Phase 2 starts when Elegon reaches 85% health, or 50% health the second time around. There's nothing to tank in this phase, so pull on your DPS pants if you got them. Elegon will begin casting Draw Power for around 15 seconds, and no damage should be going out, so just beat him up until he's done. Once done with cast, 6 celestial sparks will appear, and slowly start heading out of the energized area. You want to kill all of the sparks if you can. If all the sparks die, Elegon will make new ones, and then they will start trying to run away from the energized area as well, but a little bit faster. This will continue speeding up progressively until any of the sparks makes it to the edge of the energized area. So you're aware, if you can't tell where any of sparks fade or not, if you make it or not, watch for any of the pylons to come up for Phase 3. As soon as any spark hits the edge, a pylon will rise. So it will, if any start to rise, then you know the phase is about to end. Quick note, every time you kill all of the spark ads, the boss will take 10% more damage for the rest of the fight, making it quite important to kill as many waves as possible. Once any of the energy sparks make it to the edge, Phase 3 will start. 6 pylons will start to rise around the edge of the area, and after about 15 seconds the floor will disappear. Half of your LFR group will fall into the pit, so this is where you're going to have to pick up the slack. These pylons that appear should be the main focus, as killing all of them will end the phase and let you go back to damaging the boss. As a tank, your job in this phase is to grab the ads that spawn. The boss will periodically throw out electric zones that do a decent amount of damage to people who stand at them, and then spawn an ad. These adds are completely uninteresting and just melee whoever has the most aggro. So round them up and taunt like crazy. DPS hopefully will just focus on the pylons to finish the phase as quickly as possible. Do not walk through the electric fields next to the pylon. It does a lot of damage. Once you kill a pylon, the field will go away, allowing you to move safely to the next one. Once all 6 pylons are down, the floor reappears and the fight goes directly back into Phase 1. Rinse and repeat. So simple recap of the fight. Phase 1, main tank face boss away from raid. Off tank, grab adds and try to make them explode off the energized area. Phase 2, DPS the sparks and boss as much as possible. Phase 3, don't fall in the pit. Grab all the little adds that show up, avoid the electricity, and kill the pylons. After 2 cycles of the phases, phase 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, the boss just goes into a burn mode and will be doing lots of raid-wide damage until dead, spawning no further adds. To all the overachievers who are working on normal, the main difference is that the strategies actually matter. It is very important that the off-tank drag the Celestial Spark outside of the ring in Phase 1 to reduce the damage. Additionally, there's a stacking debuff called Overcharge that must be reset on tanks in Phase 1 by swapping tanks and running off the energized area, as well as the DPS will also have to leave the energized area to reset these stacks. So after a spark dies, the tank will actually switch places, so the main tank can go get his stacks cleared by stepping off the energized area and grab the next Celestial Protector. Additionally, in Phase 3, the energy pylons will have to be killed on 2 sides of the ring, opposite sides of the ring, to make the electric wall go down, so coordination is very important there because you'll have to split up your raid. Additionally, the adds in Phase 3 do a crap ton of damage. Like way more damage than LFR. So get ready for that. Otherwise, the fight just has much bigger numbers. Well, I hope you enjoyed this guide for dummies. Please like, favorite, subscribe, all that jazz, and as always, you keep it salty, internet.